to another exciting episode of Be Different Podcast. We are going to discuss a very interesting topic. You may or may not know that May, did you hear what I just did there? May is a mental health awareness month. So we just wanted to have something fun, something light, of course in light of this. So I have with me very exciting people, energetic, enthusiastic university students. And I'll allow them to introduce themselves. And as they're saying their name, I want to ask them one question. So, dead or alive, if you were to meet one person, the whole world, who would it be? So let's start with the gentleman on my left. As you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nekesa. My name is Cairo Karega. Like to describe myself as a multimedia storyteller, basically being at the forefront of telling African stories, redefining mainstream journalism. Dead or alive, I think the person I would love to meet probably will be my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Because I recently came to know that he was actually a journalist, and actually I've been named after him. So I would want to know how his experience was being a journalist in the 50s and the 60s. So probably, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Good.
Hi guys.
Hi.
My name is Nicole Chepto. I am a university student, as you said. Dead or alive, Caroline Mutoko.
She's so much alive.
She's so much alive. I don't know, I just like the way she carries herself, and she is unapologetically her. So that's something good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm Candice Mambui. As she had mentioned, I'm a student at University of Nairobi. Dead or alive, I would want to meet Michelle Obama.
Oh, wow.
Because I think her achievements, especially as the first ever black first lady, and all the work she does for charity and black communities in America, is very inspiring. So that's someone I would have to meet.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Nekesa. Anyway, I'm joking. So
Yes, you could tell us dead or alive,
It's
yours.
a good question.
Dead or alive, who would I want to meet? It has to be an author, and the person who wrote the book that I read, okay, let me just remember the name. The person who wrote the book I read at the start of the year, it's called, the book has gone, the author has gone. Guys, we'll do an image of that. Thank you. So, our interaction with the mental health, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Generally, we just want to throw around what we know, what we've had, what we think, what we understand, our experiences about this thing. Who wants to go first?
Multimedia storyteller.
Okay, I think for mental health, I had a bit of skewed understanding of what mental health is, because I thought you only talk about mental health when it gets serious.
Okay.
So if you're not feeling suicidal, then you're just okay, like tulia, you know. You don't have to waste a lot of money going for therapy, which I also thought it is expensive,
Yes.
and I didn't even know that they're actually free counseling sessions. So I think I had that understanding that unless you've started now self-harming or you're having suicidal thoughts and now you've gone into clinical depression, that's the only, that was my definition of mental health. But right now I think I've come to a more progressive understanding that mental health is basically how you feel, even if it's something small, even if it's anxiety, even if it is being nervous sometimes, whatever it might be, even it might be you just feel bad because it's not raining today, you know. You don't have to have been heartbroken so that you're like, now I'm facing something, a serious mental health condition. So I think it's the wholeness, like are you whole emotionally, spiritually, physically, how are you feeling that and how it affects the different aspects of your life.
When did this change? When did this switch happen? Even if it's today morning, please just admit. When did the switch happen?
So it's happened today.
The switch actually happened today, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How come today? What
Okay,
changed
so
today?
about?
Did you Google?
No, I didn't Google. I think we're just having a conversation before we started recording this. And yeah, that's what is mental health. So I said mental, you have to be, it has to be something serious. Like, then I was like, wow, if I say mental health has to be something serious, then I'm actually telling people you don't have to seek help at the initial stages. You have to wait until you're at the brim so that you seek help. So I've been enlightened. Yeah.
Even before we started. Wow, the conversation.
Well, I wouldn't say I still up to at this point understand what mental health really is, because being in an African home, mental health is not something that we used to talk about. Like, it's not, you see, like the way you wake up in the morning, check the weather and say, okay, it's sunny, so this is how I'm gonna dress. Or it's gloomy, this is how I'm gonna dress. We were never taught to do that with our mental status, like check in asubuhi or check in the evening, like how's Nicole doing in terms of mental health today? Am I anxious? Am I depressed? Is there a situation that made me feel kidogo tricky? So for me, I'm still learning to understand what mental health is. Because I have also had anxiety issues here and there, but still, at the time, I never knew that was mental health. I mean, like, you get anxious, that's life.
Wow. Amy?
I have to also admit that I would not say I'm very like good in the topic, but I believe mental health is anything that affects someone emotionally, psychologically, or just your social well-being is your mental health. And I do agree with Nicole's point of African setups. We really didn't learn growing up that your feelings and how you feel, they're all valid.
No, that
and
really
there are
matter.
things that matter and things you should talk about. Unaambiwanga tu, uko sad ni maisha, kila mtu ako sad, move on. Unaona? So it becomes difficult hata ukisikia you're not okay. You don't know who to go to talk to. You don't know where to start, so you just vumilia, and then every day becomes harder and harder.
And plus there's this stigma around therapy that I think Kyrie mentioned as well.
Before we get to that, there's something you've said that's really important. Were we allowed to cry in our home? Like, I don't know why crying was such
Cry why? Cry
why? Why are you crying?
Why
Are you allowed to cry?
I know.
Lakini ukichapwa lazima ungelia wewe.
Yeah, but still.
But even after umechapwa,
So you're beaten, then you cry, then you're beaten to stop crying.
Yes.
Then if you don't cry, you're also beaten.
Why that question came to mind is because you've said something about check-in. How many people used to check in with their parents, like, okay, or your guardians in the morning, like, how are you? How was your night? And you are given the time to actually respond.
I think
Morning and evening.
You're not even about guardians. Even when you're talking to our peers, like, I would say, Nekesa, how are you? For you, that's like, oh, I'm fine.
Just a question.
It's a question. It's like the norm. Like, you say hi, how are you? I'm good. But you don't, like, there's this thing I've done with a friend of mine that if I ask you how are you, I really want to know how you are, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. So we cut this thingy of how are you? I'm fine, and that's it.
Anyone else?
But it becomes a bit hard when you ask someone how are you, especially because of course we're saying I want to check up on our friends.
Initially I was asking from
from our parents.
From our home.
Okay, from our homes.
Growing up,
I
like
think
that point of checking in, that's the one I've picked.
I think it was just
Was there
subtle.
check-in?
It was not like very direct. Sasa, yani, not that one of how did you see you slept well. There's breakfast kuja, how was school, like it was not that very intense. Now further not going even from to where we are, how we check up on our friends. Sometimes I believe I like face-to-face interactions more, because I feel like when you text me how are you, honestly I don't have the energy to type paragraphs of how I am.
That makes sense.
So I'll just write I'm fine, or just with a nice emoji. So I think we should also try to have, I think, face conversations, because at least maybe them, because at least when my parents could see that I'm not fine, just by how I act and how they look at me, so they could realize, oh, what's wrong. But if it's just like that, this because we tend to hide a lot in our social media spaces. Yeah.
Check in.
Well, I wouldn't say it's something that was done. I think it's by in passing with a messenger. How are you? You're good, okay, sawa. But to me, I think it's from how they were also brought up themselves. You know, you emulate what you saw. So I think they just carry that forward and forward. It's not that I would say it's not that they don't want to actually know how you are. I think even them, they're not used to that level of talking about their own mental health feelings. So I don't know. Maybe they don't even know where to start. You know,
I totally just understand that. Why I asked that is I've interacted with people who, you know, we've hosted strangers in our homes as our domestic managers, and someone wakes up and just goes about their business, and they, according to them, they just don't say hi to people. Like they just, so for me it was such a shocker. But now that I'm like, you don't say hi to people in the morning, like just say hi. But then at the end of the day, even if they say hi, it won't be like an honest thing. It's just courtesy.
But I think
like,
you can't blame them because I also never used to say hi to people in the morning because I was like, see, tunapatananga kila siku, mbona nikusalimie? Although I realize the importance of check, but before that I was like, we meet every single day. You know,
So
I realized greetings were for people you've not met in a long time. That's what I thought.
I think that's actually true. Because I'm like, we stay in the same house. Why even
woke up,
text.
you're alive. I can see you. You're there doing your thing. So
no, there's this thing that they started in the house. I know. I told you good night. As in, doesn't that count? As in, good night. Okay. In the morning, we just start about our business. Okay, who's using the bathroom first? Just like that.
Wow. Anyway, let's move on. Something Karega said about social media and presenting ourselves differently in that space versus face-to-face. These things have taken up our space. Most people are in that space of even saying, don't call me, text me. Like calls have even become disruptive. They are almost face-to-face. Like calls, you're forcing me to talk. How good or bad is it? Because we are letting gadgets take over. Karega, you're special. You want face-to-face still.
Yeah.
As we're just like, please.
I just feel like, how will we interact authentically online? You know, even if there's Zoom, even if there's that and still network connection issues. Like I want to see the smile on your face. I want to see the grin on your face.
But there's something we are assuming, Karega, that that human touch or that human interaction is meant to be deeper and not shallow. In terms of, you'll ask me, Nekesa, how are you? And I'll be honest and tell you, leo nikubaya. Or
okay, I think let me look at it from this point. For me, it's not like it's on a daily basis because of course, again, I can't keep up. If you keep asking me how are you every single day, I'll be like, when unanga kazi ingine? Yeah, but like,
shots fired.
Friends of Karega.
No, but when we meet, like we talk, you know, because I'm like, what's the use? Because this is how WhatsApp conversations goes. How are you? I'm fine. How was your day? It was good. How was yours? It was good. That's awesome. But then it ends. Because there's nothing else. Yeah, like okay. Maybe you guys, you write long paragraphs. But I prefer, even if we don't talk like, you know, a whole month, we have not talked online, but that when we meet, trust me, we will talk and have a conversation. Like a wholesome one. Of course, people are different, and that's why we are on Be Different.
Yeah,
podcast.
Right. Nice. Well, I think, you know, for me, I would tell you, I like when I'm talking to you, like eye contact. It tells a lot. So with calls, it went kidogo down because you can tell with someone's tone, so you can say if this person is not okay.
But I can fake it.
Really?
Yeah.
It depends on how well that person
knows you. Yeah. Because if it's your best friend calling, he or she would definitely know, like, Kyrie is not okay. Because I know when I say hi, like, how will they pick up the phone? You get it. So the fact that nowadays is text, don't call, you see, you've minimized that, like, you won't know if I'm lying. And even on voice notes, now voice notes is where you can actually fake it. But with calls, you would forget yourself, like this person over here, kidogo, of memory. So you would forget that you had lied about how you are, and then you pick up. Or I can say something that triggers you, and then you say, for real, I am not okay. And also that thing you mentioned about how shallow, like me saying that, I think it's because we kidogo don't trust each other that much with how we are feeling, because I am telling you I am not okay, and this is disturbing me. Maybe we are in the same circles, and then I go and hear what I told you from someone else that I didn't tell. So that closes me up, so that the next time you ask me how I am, I'll just tell you I'm fine.
Wow.
Me, I think gadgets just made us no longer as personal as we used to be. Like his point, I agree. I prefer meeting you in person, talking. You know, I can be able to express without necessarily even talking. You can tell by my vibe, my mood. So on call, if you call me and I'm like, I'm fine, I can even lie and tell you, no, I'm just sleepy. You don't know, you see. And text is not
Or you can
the
say,
worst.
can I call you back later?
Exactly.
I'm busy.
That's
Nowadays.
you know, the biggest lie. or you say I'm busy. Night up.
Can I call you back later?
That is the biggest.
Can I call you back later? So, okay. So what I'm hearing, that is just one element. So we are running away from interactions and authenticity. The whole umbrella is authenticity. But then again, so going to maybe another cause. What could be causing this?
What did you say?
What could be causing the issue of the whole aspect? We go back to rewind to the endama branches. We rewind back to now the mental health, you know, the challenges, because we are agreeing. Are we agreeing?
On what exactly? On what exactly?
Are we agreeing that we are not okay?
We are not
Kyra
okay.
saying something very interesting, you know.
We are
It's
actually not
an
okay.
everyday thing. And we are not doing checkups. We are not, no one is asking you, how are you every morning, how are you feeling? Maybe you had a thought.
But that being said,
maybe you had a thought that really triggered
if someone
you.
wants to be asking me how I am, you can every day.
You've already announced to your
Let me
friends.
put it out there. You please be asking me how I am every day.
Something happened to me this week, and I know that Nicole saw me that day. She knows. I woke up, I went for a run, and I had this I just started thinking.
Depressing thought.
I depressed myself. Guys, I depressed myself proper. By the time I'm getting to the office, it's very early in the morning, but it's like 12 noon for me. I was tired. And I was just like, woo! I didn't want to talk that day. All the coffee in the world didn't do nothing for me.
And sending emails without saluting people.
I sent out in air, clearly. So my point is, so there's no one for checking up on me, but I'm very talkative. So I of course I told the people around me,
Today is not the day.
this happened. I am not the person, and today is not the day for me. So they knew not to press some buttons. But interacting with people who are not so self-aware, interacting with people who do not even know that, that thought, that something I thought today morning really triggered me the wrong way, or made me feel some type of way, or maybe when I do this, something happens.
I think they would project. Because they don't know what exactly is bothering them. They'll project it to others. So I'd be snappy. Nicola and I to I'm snappy, but I don't know why. Yeah, so I think lack of self-awareness is a very huge problem.
Kwanza na what is self-awareness?
Sawa.
Nini?
Kujijua.
Kujijua in
Know
what
yourself.
terms?
So you tell us, but you asked the question.
Kujijua.
I'm asking because hapo kwa self-aware.
Let me comment on. Let me answer you kidogo. You said you've been anxious. How did you know? And you're the one who told us. No one. It's not someone else who said, Nicole, you're anxious or you have anxiety
That's
issues.
self-aware.
Tell us.
Well, there says then you just know you're not your calibrations kidogo is not the way it's supposed to do. Like there's some imbalance in how you usually are.
Yeah, and I think also knowing what triggers you, because I realized I've been I'm not a victim, a victor. There's a correct word.
Yes,
I'm not a victim.
Yeah.
Of
You experienced.
Yeah, I've experienced cyberbullying. So I was like, if you just want to, I realized, okay, for some people, for them they're okay with reading the comments again and looking at what people have written. But for me, I just delete.
Okay.
I'm like, why should because I realize the more I keep reading, the more it keeps getting to me. So if I see just a hate comment or someone in some those wanaitangwaje those trolls in Roysambu, okay, not Roysambu, wanaitangwaje keyboard warriors writing paragraphs. I'm like, I'll just delete it if I don't want to see it.
The time you read before you started deleting, how did it used to affect you?
I remember there was a time when I was in high school, I was a debater. So I did this video. You can even check it out on my YouTube channel. YouTube channel at Cairo Karega. It was Kagumo High School versus Nyeri High School. I was in Kagumo High School, just saying.
Yes.
So we were debating on parents are to blame for their children's indiscipline. Of course, in debates, you don't choose sides. Whatever you're given, you have to support it. So I was against parents. So I remember I started saying, parents, the first opportunity they get, they send you to a boarding school. Then once or twice in a term, they don't visit. They visit, they come, they lecture the teachers. Why is my child not performing well? So I really went all out on parents.
You were really delivering.
So someone took that 30-second clip from the point I was really, and me, I was in there to win. And we actually won that debate. So we won. So I was there to win. Of course, I wanted, not that I was against parents. So someone took that 30-second clip, put it on Twitter, and started talking, and I started getting tagged how self-entitled children are. Who does he think he is? Look at him, he's ugly. What is he telling us? Keyboard warriors, or some comments I cannot even say here. So it shifted from the conversation of me as a person, the person in debate, to now me as a person. Like, people started attacking me personally instead of now talking about the motion itself, the ideology. So that really, because that happened, that video I was recording in 2018. I later came to see it in 2020. That was when I was in uni. So I remember I wanted to quit all my social media platforms, like delete all of them. I'm like, this is not for me. And I wanted to give up my dream of now becoming a mainstream journalist. I was like, sasa mimi nitakuwa mtu wa PR sasa. Because plus I was like, no, that I've realized that there's bullying online. Will I be able to handle it as a journalist? Because if it has affected me, like, I wanted to quit and just go to another course.
That's your everyday life.
Because as a journalist, you have to be on social media. You cannot say, I don't have social media at all. So I actually wanted to delete everything. But uzuri, I took a break. I went to Shago when there was no internet, nothing, and just took like a 1 month break off social media, detox, to just think. But later on, I came back and I was like, let me not give up on my dream. I know these are keyboard warriors. How I can just delete the comments or not look at them at all. Yeah.
Wow. So on that deleting point, coming to our lives, do you think we like delete our emotions so that we don't work on them?
Wow, she's saying you evaded the situation.
But how would you do it? How would you address the
but
situation?
I like your question.
Delete the emotions, and I'm like, for me, if you hurt me, I want.
But these are online strangers.
No, but we don't necessarily delete. We have this cancelling culture. I get what she's saying. Nicole, you're cancelled.
Oh,
yes. You're making me feel this way and this way instead of me sitting down with you to confront
and say what? Bye-bye.
Bye,
you are dead to me.
Yes.
But don't you think sometimes you need to cancel people, toxic people out of your life?
How many will you cancel?
How many will you cancel? Will you be an island?
And how old are you right now? You have not yet.
I'm not saying I'm not cancelled people, but I'm saying
I hear what you're saying.
That I think honestly, in a figure point, you just have to gotta put you first. Like. If you see people who are consistently, you have tried having that conversation with them.
Oh, you've
they're
tried.
Still toxic, yes.
But now in Nicole's case, there are people who just
like bye Felicia.
Yeah.
like
Bye,
that.
girl.
You see the way you're like, I can't deal with this comments. Let me just delete. So it's you now deleting someone from your life, or deleting that emotion that you're feeling. And now that you see, why do people they call each other, oh, you're cold? How do you
I get your
go
point.
from
But
warmth to that? Giving
for how long
warmth
will
to
you,
that person?
assuming
to being cold?
if you're the one on the receiving end, like assuming I've been wronging you and you've been trying having these conversations with me and I'm not changing, for how long will you simp with me?
Yeah, it's difficult because the person is not putting active effort to change. So I get his point. Like if I see you're trying, then I would stay. But if someone is you're telling them now kuskizi, they're just repeating. Sasa,
Because so many people are in abusive relationships
you're
because of
going
that. Because you
nowhere.
want to stay
because
in
you're like,
something.
maybe they'll change.
Yeah.
And they're
For how
not.
long will you wait
And
for
they're
people
showing
to
you they're not
change?
going to.
Okay. You're
So
receiving
I'm picking like 3 things here. So there's the issue of boundaries. Do we have healthy boundaries around us? One. There's the issue of, are we able to unplug ourselves from toxic situations and just take that break? Self-care. What he said, what he did for that 1 month. That's also sort of taking care of yourself. Do we ever do that? Or we are just like, kwanza hii Nairobi guy, please someone take me away from here for some time. then the way life is just going on and we are very busy and we are just moving on very fast. There's a day she actually wanted to cry, or she cried because she wants to finish school haraka. I told her, please,
You've just
girl,
aired my
I'm sorry. I told her, I'm sorry for using your example before I asked you. I told her, girl, where are you going? Unataka to join? Adulting, paying bills. Utajua bei ya mattress.
Yeah,
So everything is happening very fast, and everything, as in we don't unplug. We don't unplug from things that are, we don't take stock. We don't just breathe and take stock. How many of us afford holidays? How many of us, now like evaluate our relationships? Hey, I have a friend who will give you an evaluation form for a friendship. Like, where is this friendship headed? I'm gonna cancel. She always wants closure, so she just won't cancel you and disappear. Like, fill this evaluation form.
Wait, does she have an actual form?
Yeah.
Me, I think we should do that.
Do you think people should do that?
Yes, I think we should.
No.
Okay, not when you're canceling each
No,
other.
and you can't have a friend one day tick this box if you
No,
want to
it's not
right?
not in that sense. Like it would be really good, as I was telling the other day, like check in this relationship. Okay, are we attaining goals that we want to? Are we helping each other? Are we toxic to each other?
Those
You're
are
the
very
one who
good
used to tell me about we should put boundaries.
Yeah. every
Yes, so
relationship
there's
have a
that.
boundary.
And how do we check in and know that we have put boundaries and none of us has violated that boundary if we don't evaluate
and
our
communication.
So did you guys put boundaries?
It was
We are
a
still
beginning
thinking about it.
conversation.
And also to communicate, because I think
Yes,
we fear a lot
communication.
communicating, especially about gray areas. So kama okay, saki kuanika watu hapa. Like madeni.
Like debt, like financial debt.
Exactly.
Okay.
Some people you give them money and they just disappear and they keep quiet, and you're like, and they don't communicate. Then you expect me to smile. Not that I love money, but at least like that communication aspect. If you have a problem, like, hey, I was supposed to pay you back, but this and this happened, I will not be able to, or can you give me more time, or you see. But now being quiet, or someone wrongs you, because I've experienced this a lot. Because I'm very forgiving. So someone could come and just do me dirty, Alafu, the next day, they pretend like nothing happened.
The good Lord said, forgive.
Yeah, so...
You yourself like address the situation.
Yeah.
But okay, but at that point, I was afraid of addressing the situation, of coming and say like, I don't know how to start a conversation, because you're the one. Okay, I'm just being a little bit, but when so could you apologize?
What if in their sense
They don't know?
They don't think they didn't.
Yeah.
What if they don't know? They're wrong.
Because at
What
me,
if-
I had that situation. Nekesa would know this. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Mi
You, your life is
nimenyamaziwa.
going on.
I
When
do
you're
not
not
know.
one.
But what if
Okay.
someone has wronged you, like actually wronged you, like the
And you knew what
mtu
mnajua.
amekuja kuinsult face to face and all that, but they know you're a very forgiving person and you're a Christian.
They're
So
taking advantage.
the next day they come and you don't talk about it, and I'm like, we've never actually talked about it, and I don't know how to bring this up, but you still remember.
But I think that's where Nekesa's point of view in terms of boundaries come
Do
here.
we have healthy boundaries? So anyway, we are all representing young people here. How many people in your circles take care of their mental health in terms of excuse me, I have an appointment with my therapist.
First, my circle is kidogo.
Very small.
Very minute.
Okay.
For those in my circle, yes, I do check in with them, and some do have a therapist. Yes, and I think we take young circle and there's a therapist. Like, would you be mine? Yeah. So they I think they do care about themselves.
Oh,
And
wow.
even when we're having conversations, they would be like, Nicole, that is kidogo not nice. Ama it's kidogo triggering me. So let's either pull up or take a break from this conversation and talk about something else, so that some other time when I'm okay, we can revisit this conversation.
Oh wow.
I don't think I have.
That's a healthy circle.
Okay, my circle, I don't think there's anybody who visits a therapist. But I don't think because I also don't visit. I'm not saying I have no reason to visit one, but I think I have. Okay, not that. I just don't have a reason.
You just said I'm not saying that.
Yeah, like nenda kumwambia nini? See, I can just talk to my friends. I can just talk to my mom. I can talk to my dad. You see, I think my therapist kind of are like my friends and my family. So if I have something, because I'm like, why? I'm not discouraging anybody from going to a therapist.
Yeah.
But for me, before I get to that point where I'm going to a therapist, then that means all my available options around me have failed me. So like the people
it's your
close to
last-
me,
like
yeah,
your
it's like my
last
last
resort
option.
kabisa.
Yeah,
And
like I've tried talking to
should-
my parents, my close friends, and everything, and nothing is working. And now I need, because a therapist for me is like a stranger. I don't know. I don't know what.
Do you know that I think people find comfort in talking to a stranger because you won't judge me. We won't meet somewhere else that you would start. We are not in the same circle that you start speaking about me. I think that is also one of the reasons why I kidogo hold back in going to UHS counseling. Because I mean, I'm a student here.
Yeah, so,
And so what-
the people are qualified.
They are.
It's a
I
qualified
think for
doctor
her, it's more
who
about-
did an oath.
No, I think for
Who
her it's
took
more
an
about
oath?
trust.
It's trust for
That's
me,
the
because me I
issue.
would rather a stranger that I'm going and you have a very nice couch over there.
So the doctors we have are not strangers?
They are strangers, but the
To
fact
you?
that
They're still within the same
we're in the same
location.
organization.
What about opening up to your friends and close family?
Family, that one is kidogo tricky. Trust. Do you know? Sorry to use the. Do you know family can really f that word up for you? By the way, family can really even koroga your mental health vizuri.
Unajua wana watch.
African home. Are you sure you're from an African home?
Imagine, I think it's because for me and my parents, like we've built that trust because they're not judgy. Like
I'm not actually talking about family in parents.
Oh,
in terms of parents.
okay.
Like your
Like
cousins,
your cousins,
your
your
aunts,
peers.
your uncles, like the people you would like
Confide
if me and
in?
you were cousins. So you see, like there's that peer to peer that I should be able to tell you,
Yeah.
I'm not okay here. But since that, I'm telling you in confidence, you go and tell Amy, who's another cousin of yours, from your mother's side. Do you get? So now when we are in family reunion, I am the topic.
Kila mtu ashapata tea.
You see, so for me, trust is that thing for me in
Trust is
terms
very
of
big.
mental health.
Do you have people in your circles who
She has really. maybe on another side to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, I think so. I think the friends that I have, I would say I would completely trust them to tell them how I am mentally and be completely honest, because people are not usually honest. Like Nicole said, trusting someone is not easy. It's really not, especially with something like your feelings and how you're doing. It's something that's very difficult. But me, I'm grateful for my friends. Naweza kuwa trust, and I'm not worried ati huyu atajua, Nekesa ataambiwa, ofisi itajua. No, I'm not worried about that.
Nice. So, what are we left with as a support system now that it's only Nicole, right, who has friends? She doesn't see a therapist, but her circle of friends see therapists.
A circle of 2 people.
Yeah. So, what does our support system look like? Not forgetting challenges zenye Kenya. It's not the systems, it's not financial issues.
You as the host, tell
Yes.
us about it.
I actually have friends who have therapists. I have actually tried making appointments with therapists.
So have you ever had a session with a therapist?
Yes,
So
I
how
have
was
had
that?
a session with a therapist. It was the best thing ever. Best thing ever. You know, our challenge is all of us here want to talk. But you've just never found someone who will stay alert, alive the whole time, listen to you, and the whole business is you talking.
But I also like you see in movies the way they poke with the nice
Yes,
questions.
yes. So it was like the best thing ever. I went, I
Was it free?
Yes. But initially I'd booked like I was ready to pay. It was that bad, guys.
Where is that free
It was that
therapy?
bad. I was about to pay. The resources that we have here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went, sat, of course was probed. Nilimwagika, nilifunguka. Nikamwagika. Of course I really talked. And then she gave me a very interesting perspective. Oh goodness. She just told me, you just need to go and start from here. Assignment. Assignment.
What to do?
Remember, go and start from here and do this and do this. I felt so nice. I was like, wait. I came out of there. It was just one session, but I was so energetic. You know, my bounce came back, my want. So yes, I have people in my circles who have seen therapists or who have therapy sessions, and we don't shy away from talking about it. And it's almost, and they're still my friends. They're still my go-to people. We do peer therapizing each other. Is that what, like, yeah, you know. But we still look for qualified doctors, you see. But it came in a time in our lives when we could all pay or all afford, or in a space where you can actually say, you know what, I'm taking the time out, going to see ABC.
I think now that you've mentioned therapy, I've just realized the reason why I have an apathy towards therapy. Because the therapist or psychologist who tukienda seminars, you know, because, you know, primary, high school, the how they're communicating to us is that young people are to blame, you know. So young people, yeah, you're very entitled and all that. So of course that's how they work. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying what I'm saying. Yeah, we are entitled, but that's how they were coming at me, and you know, that's how they were advertising themselves by saying how we're entitled, we're to blame and all that. So
you feel like you're painted as broken, and you need to be fixed.
Yeah, like people of this generation, watoto wa siku hizi.
Yeah.
I think I don't have that nowadays. Nimeona kusi more progressive therapists who are, there are people who are just very rigid. You just see they're very rigid.
That's the perception you have.
Okay, maybe because I've never gone. But if they come and maybe that I'm not, maybe I don't know, maybe if they're talking, for example, about drug abuse, they're talking about it is from a authoritative point of view. Yeah, not from a conversation point of view.
And reactive.
Yeah.
It's like they're reacting to something. Okay.
It's like you're coming to give a talk on drug abuse, but it's like you're blaming me for taking drugs. I've not even started. And you're already blaming
You've
me.
not even started.
Not yet.
I'm not planning.
Not yet.
I'm not planning.
react to what I said?
What did you say?
Because you asked me something and then no, he's commenting.
Oh, in terms of you, I think I did. In terms of saying that I have people in my circle who do, and they enjoy therapy. Because
maybe your perception. I like what Kariga said. He said that now that I mentioned the issue of going to see a therapist, then he got a light bulb moment. Like, yeah, that's the reason why I've never been.
Honestly, I would love to see a therapist.
Oh,
but it's
desire.
something that I have. I'm saying, kidogo nikikuwa na pesa, I would do that.
Okay.
But I would try UHS and see if maybe things would go the right way now that we are on break. Yeah, maybe things would turn up vizuri.
Yeah. What do you think?
Do you see a
What's your
therapist?
perception of seeing a therapist, and would you?
Would I see a therapist?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would. I think everybody should be able to see a therapist. I think it would be very like. You have something to say?
No,
I've gotten another light bulb moment.
Light bulbs are
I think it would be very important for everyone. Because naturally you can think, missing a shida, I don't need to see a therapist until you go. And that's when, like you said, you opened up, you're like,
Yeah.
So I think everyone should,
Who is that mirror that asks you, or that tells you, by the way, hapa hauko sawa? Do we have those people? Kwa sababu sasa tumesema ndio kulikuwa na issue ya self awareness. So kama mtu hana hiyo self awareness,
I think for me, generally people who are around me, even sometimes people who were not even close, will point out something about me because they know my personality. Like shida inakuanga okay, ni kama, you know, if you're a talkative person like me, if you suddenly don't become talkative, like people will start noticing.
if you go quiet.
Yeah, why not giving us dry jokes? What happened? Umenyamaza nini? Or someone who was very silent somehow is very talkative.
I think the fact that you're aware you give dry jokes is self-awareness.
Yeah, but they're improving. Yeah, so I think people generally around me, the spaces I'm in, my work colleagues, my classmates, my family, my friends, point out, because I don't think, you know, because the thing with depression and some mental health problems, someone doesn't have to be close to you to know that you have a problem.
No.
Even someone just uko kwa matatu tu, kuna mtu hata amekaa kando anasema uko poa, akuulize tu, because it can be seen. You can reach a point you're like, huyu madam amekuja na hata hujaona tu kuna mtu amekuja na stress zake mpaka unaona huyu mse labda ako na shida with their stress, and unakuja ukelelesha ama unamkanyanga by mistake, unaona mtu amelipuka, you're like, eish. So generally people around me, I think that will be my mirror. Sometimes
But have you given them the rights? Have we given our mirrors the rights to comment? Anaweza kucomment cancel.
Me, I don't think I've cancelled anybody from commenting, because I love positive criticism if it is positive, if it's something that I can work on. But if you come and tell me, you know, something that I can't change and there's nothing I can do about it, then I won't listen. You know, I'll just totally shut out. But if it's something that I can actively work on, you know, I'll work on it. I try to take positive criticism.
You see, when you tell someone you're there having a conversation and you be like, "Busy Mimi, I'm just okay. If you call me out on my BS, I am so okay." Let them call out. Let them do it. It hurts.
It does.
It hurts. So I think also the fact when you give your mirrors that leeway of them calling you out on your BS, pia wewe kumbuka. You can cancel them because of them calling out. And sometimes it's because maybe you don't agree with what they've said. As me, sometimes I tell Amy, kila kitu nakuambia, just get, and we internalize. Ukiona nimekudhogozania, ziache. Let them go if they are not gonna be useful, but just pick those that you think are useful to you. So I think you as my mirror should also understand that the way you hope that I would live my life, you as like, tell me, you as Nekesa, when you tell me something and you hope that I would go this way. If I go this way and start to channel my own route, don't be upset because I'm not following that route, and give me the grace to either come back to my senses. If I'm going the wrong way and you're saying I'm going the wrong way, just tell me whether you're going the wrong way. It's me to choose whether I will come back to that lane or continue.
Our mirrors should be aware that it's not about control, it's about suggest or comment. Then I choose whether to take in your advice or not.
And don't be offended if
No,
I
si
go
catch.
wrong.
Si
If I
catch.
go
What
the
on a catch
wrong
huku?
route. And
si
at a
catch.
CC, when people call us out on our BS, let's not be offended.
So there's a lot of suicide, young people dying. Exams results, watu wanajua nini. Recently nimeona dem young msupu ameandika, by the way aliandika suicide note to Facebook. Na kapost hapo picha tutatu. Nice, very beautiful. Na ka end her life akasema akaandika hapo poem, very beautiful poem, and then sure kaenda kajua. Like, what is it? What is it something that, okay, I know you guys don't know, but your comments on just are we that resigned? Is the situation that helpless?
Sometimes it is. You, like, every time I come to you sometimes when I'm laughing with you, you wouldn't know. I'm like, Nekesa, I really want to talk to you, but it's okay if you're busy. Just tell me when to come back. I understand. That's the first time. The second time, Nekesa, I'd really like to talk to you.
She's reaching out.
And then you're like, chill kidogo, let me call
Like
you
we
back.
really take each other for granted.
Yeah, let me call you back. I'm really busy. That meme you sent me, you're knowing your place. Kuna mtu ananipigia.
Ebu kata kidogo.
You're not as important as you thought.
You see? And for me, you're the person that come by and by, I would talk to you. And whatever you would tell me, I would do. But still I'm trying to reach out, but you're never there. And then what?
Okay.
I just katika.
Wow.
I think for suicide, again, before it reaches that point, then that, like, because someone can just not wake up and like, I want to kill myself today.
No.
It has to be something that has built up with time, you know. So you get, if you look at someone has been abused, they never spoke up, and just snap, or they've been facing a certain problem. So I think it's addressing that challenge. Now going to my self-awareness moment at the start, like don't wait until it gets serious so that you start seeking for help. Like immediately, that's why again I was up here counseling and I realized men have this this thing of I can't open up, I don't have feelings and all that, such that you don't talk or you don't acknowledge or you don't work on something. It's sometimes even not even mental health, even physical health. I know someone who was sick but they never went to a doctor because they're like, woman can't stroke, and they ended up dying. Because they never sought medical help, because like they were literally sick, you know. Someone else was alidungwa, like alikuwa anapigania girlfriend, and she was snapped. Alikuwa initonga stabbed, that is snapped. He was stabbed. Akaenda tu kwa nini after kwenda just chemist hizo mahosi zinakwanga hapo kwa stitch, and just went to work normally, didn't even tell people because he was ashamed of how do I tell people now that I was
fighting for
a girlfriend. And he had internal bleeding, you know, and he didn't even tell his boss or anything, he was afraid, so just not talking, again after some days died. So I believe like people should not wait until it gets that serious. If it's the first time it happened, even if that's something that is very small, you know, if someone lied to you and you're hurt, it doesn't have to be very serious. Even if you're just hurt because you got an A minus, you know, and you used to get an A, you don't have to wait until you reach an E, so that you now start to be like, wow, I need help. Like if it's okay, acknowledge your feelings, talk about it. You don't. I'm not saying you have to talk to someone or do a certain way because some people don't like, but don't wait until it gets serious. And I believe it can never get that serious until actually there's nobody at all to listen to you. Even if your close friends cannot listen to you, even if your close family cannot listen to you, even if your colleagues, I'm sure even a stranger on the street will listen to you. Like, I don't think like you can reach a point and say there's no help whatsoever. Like there's no help at all. There's always someone to help.
Well, let's preach.
Nimekuwa motivated.
Our parting
Amen.
shots.
Tonie nini sadaka.
Sadaka yako.
Parting shots, Amy, what you've learned, what you've picked from this conversation, what you can tell your peers.
What I would say is checking up on people is very important. You can get so used to a person, you say, ni Nicole ako sawa. I'll see Nicole namuona. You don't know every day Nicole anaingia anasema wow, another day. Anaketi hapo, maybe you guys laugh, join the lunch. And that time Hash is literally struggling anasema, okay guy, how will I do this? So I think you should just take time to just check in on someone. Just ask them how they're feeling, how they're doing, how was your day today, how was your week, you know? It doesn't have to be just peers. That's something I wanted to say, by the way. It can be even the people like vile alisema stinjo unaona ako sawa. You can just be like, how is this morning for you? Hivyo job ilikuwa aje, as you know. I think it's very important. You could be saving someone now doing.
Yeah, well, just to ride on her stuff, and it's the same thing I started with this conversation. The same way you look at the weather forecast, look at yourself. Check in with yourself every morning. How's Nicole doing? Am I good? Am I anxious? Do I feel depressed? Is there something? Did I wrong someone? Or am I feeling this kidogo tendencies? How's my family? How are my friends? Are they doing okay? If you have kidogo a bad memory, and I'm not directing this to someone, if you have kidogo bad memory, you can put it in your calendar and say, today I will talk to this friend of mine, tomorrow this one, or time, so that at least, thank God for the gadgets, they can remind you. So just check in.
For my parting shot, I think this is something very important that we forgot to talk about. Sometimes our biggest enemies when it comes to mental health is ourselves. Like nobody's actually hard on you. If you are the past, because I remember I was very, very hard on myself. I had very high standards for myself. Like until I accepted that sometimes, I can be weak, I can be wrong, and I can mess up, and it's okay,
That's very interesting. So my parting shot will come from, I'm a parent. So I have two beautiful girls. So for me, the first thing is the culture, the checking in, the opening up. These girls are learning things every day. I spend time with them. Unasikia mtu amesema keyword. Hiyo umetoa wapi? So I feel like every day is very, like all the days, they are very important. The culture of just sitting down and having conversations with, if you're a parent with your young girls, if you're the children, then with maybe with your parents, the other way.
Also, if you're a parent with your young boys.
With your young boys. Oh, did I say your young girls only?
Also my young girls.
Your children, please. Very important, by the way. For me, I feel like it's a culture. Like if you're brought up, shown how to open up, shown how to speak about your vulnerabilities, even shown how to say you've poured milk, it's not a big deal. It starts from there. Mommy, all the sugar, nimetumwa mayai, yote imebreak. It starts from there. So you choose how to open up based on how that reaction, was taken. Mommy, I'm coming home, I'm pregnant. It will start from there. People are resources. You sit down like this, like from this conversation, I've learned so much. So imagine you learn every day, you sit with someone, you pick their brains, you listen to what they say, you learn a lot. And by doing that, we will slowly, and of course, please visit our doctors, take care of ourselves, so that we can all arrest this mental health awareness thing, because it's big. It's big. It's from everywhere you turn, not politics, not news, not social spaces and social media and gadgets, you know, it's a very big deal. So yeah, please take care of yourself mentally. Thank you for hanging out with us, and let's go on with this conversation on our social media pages. We'll write them down here. Thank you so much and have a good one.
And subscribe.
Yeah, only
And
social media.
like.
Yes, please. Subscribe.